I was told right at the start, when I was being told I was going to go out and do what I'm doing, that there was use the word in the widest context, there was a spiritual revolution coming, because there was a vibrational change coming that was going to wake humanity up from basically its hypnotic state. I say that's where the hypnotic state comes from, that thing we see in the sky at night. And that this vibrational change, what I dubbed in my first book, the truth vibrations, that's what the name of my first book was after I started to get this in 1991. And the truth vibrations is the name I gave to this vibrational change, because what I was told was that it was going to have two major effects. First of all, people were going to wake up from the coma. The more awake first, and then more and more who were not anything like awake to start with. And we're seeing that, Robert, aren't we? My goodness me, I'm seeing it all over the world. But also, it was going to bring to the surface all that had been hidden from humanity.
Right.
20 years ago, not a sign of it. Look at it now.
Yes.
Look what we know now. We didn't know last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's coming up. And this truth vibrations is, for me, this. Another thing that I've kind of put together, it's a long story, most of them are, because they're pieces that you put together and come from different sources, but keep pointing you in the same direction. I'm saying that out of the black holes, and they've now discovered there's a massive one at the center of this galaxy, and they perceive that there's one at the center of every galaxy. I think the black holes all over the place. As this, out of the black holes is coming the base vibration of this reality, the base vibration of the cosmic internet. But this vibration changes. And as the vibration, the base vibration resonates, it's eliciting information from the suns, and probably other sources too, from the suns on that frequency, in that frequency range. And so that's the information, the photon energy, the photon information that is passing through the meridian lines of the acupuncture system. Because what are they doing? The acupuncture lines, the chi, what is it? It's information. And so we're constantly decoding information as this energy goes through the genetic structure. And of course, the brain's massively involved in the decoding.
And that's
reality
increasing.
as well. Yeah, and also the Earth, with the meridian lines of the Earth, the ley lines and the vortex points, or the ancients used to put their kind of great temples on and everything, and the Freemasons put things on, temples on and stuff like that to harness that energy. That's photon energy as well. The planet 2 is decoding information. And so because of the moon matrix, the hack, like the Chinese firewalling off the World Wide Web, we have been receiving a fraction of that information. But this resonance, this base resonance, doesn't stay constant, as I've said. It goes through a cycle. It doesn't go round, it just vibrates differently to a different beat as it goes through its cycle, and then basically returns to something like the start, and it all starts again. It's what I call the time loop. As that base frequency changes, so the information coming from into what you might call the cosmic internet, that changes. And this is what the circular nature of time is about.
Right.
Time is also an illusion. It's a decoded illusion based on information. But you've got the Mayans, they talk about the circular nature of time. You've got the Yugas in Asia, the circular nature of time. It's a constant theme. And what do they talk about? They talk about going through a golden age, and then a more suppressed epoch, where things are like a dark age, like suppressed and limitation. And what I've begun to understand, mate, is that very clearly we are changing epochs. And what you're talking about with these astrological and astronomical sequences, they're all a holographic expression, a played out in this reality expression of information changing within the base construct, because at the moment we're at this cusp of change. I mean, what did people talk about, even in the New Age years ago, the dawning of the age of Aquarius? Well, these are all, and the Mayans talk about 2012 and all this stuff. Well, maybe they do. I mean, some people question all that in detail, but the theme, absolutely, I agree with. that there is an epoch change because there is an information change. Now, in the situation we're in, we're in the cusp, so both information sources are actually coexisting. And this is where we've got this very clearly emerging, forking the road of those people that are still decoding the information from the old epoch, and look at people like you and me and others, and
Yeah. We'll look crazy to them.
What are you doing? You're crazy.
We'll look crazy to them,
and
yes.
Then, but more and more, and my God, have I seen it over 20 years.
Yeah.
More and more, all over the world. I've been in 51 countries now, and this is a global phenomenon where people are starting to open their minds, because
to get it.
The thing is that the information of the old epoch of suppression and limitation, on which this whole control system and suppression is based, because when that's gone, that's got to go, because it's an expression of it. So the control system is doomed. It's trying to hang on for dear life by throwing the kitchen sink at us at the moment, but it's doomed ultimately. But if you are in a mental and emotional state, therefore what? Vibrational state, resonance state, in which you are only tuning into that, then you will stay welded in your sense of perception and possibility to the old epoch, very much more low-grade information, because it was the epoch of suppression and ignorance. So
right.
It was an experience for consciousness. But now we're moving into this era, and when you open your mind, open your body mind to consciousness, the infinite level of us, then you start to resonate
right.
quicker. And what happens? You start to resonate with information
the
that's
new
resonating
information
quicker, which is this new information that's coming in, what I call the truth vibrations. And that's why people are awakening, and they're saying, why couldn't I see it before? Because you weren't connected to
right.
what you're connected to now.
The cosmic intelligence is more available to them.
Exactly.
Because
the
they're
greater
open.
Intelligence.
While the other ones stand and they still sit in the old world.
Exactly.
So there's a separation in definition. So some of us will really get it and move forward and actually be able to even access it. Going back to what we were saying about the Avatar movie, this is a very similar thing. The idea that if you sat still, if you focused on the energies that are there, then you'll get that information. You'll see the new information that's coming in, that's exposing the misinformation and the disinformation about what we've come to believe so far. And the other people will still be stuck in the other world, so we will look crazy to them, because we've sort of moved up into this new expression, accessing the new information.
But for the people still welded to the old information construct, they are just an opening of the mind away to moving into the new era.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the control system now, in all its forms, all the food additives of chemicals in drink and fluoride in the water and electromagnetic pollution, more and more surveillance, more and more stress, fear of the economy, and all these things to destabilize us mentally, emotionally, chemically, electromagnetically, therefore put it all together vibrationally. It seems, if you don't put this other stuff together, that what's happening is that this control system is reaching its ultimate goal of total global power. I see it another way. If I knew that this vibrational change, transformation was coming 20 years ago, how long has the control system bloody known it's coming? And it's no coincidence that it's in this time, this point, where this truth vibration transformation is really starting to impact upon more and more human perception, that we're being hit by everything this system can throw at us, because the body computer is a receiver transmitter. That's why the body's basically a crystalline entity, but it's also an electrochemical organism on one level. And all this stuff we're consuming, all this electromagnetic pollution, all this stuff in water and drink and whatever, and food, it's destabilizing us electrochemically. And when you have a distortion like that, you cannot decode reality and this new awareness on the scale that you would if the blueprint was as it should be. And of course, what they're doing now is targeting children overwhelmingly. They're targeting them with all the stuff in food and drink and sweets and candy and all the rest of it you call it in America. And we have this thing called attention deficit disorder, which is the inability to concentrate, so they say, and hyperactivity and all the rest of it, right? And they're giving them Ritalin, which is helping to justify the drugging of children and young people. But the symptoms of attention deficit disorder, which they've just created as a mental problem, are exactly the same symptoms that you get from the additives in food and drink that we're giving children. Exactly the same.
So we're aiding the problem in the first place.
But they're targeting the children on multi levels, because they are the next generation that are going to take this truth vibration change on.
Right.
So they're trying to stop us becoming what this vibrational information change could make us become. But it's like, it's like trying to stop a tornado with a with a little sticker or something. It's a fly on an elephant's back. What we are experiencing and what we will experience for a few years yet are many challenges as the cornered rat of the control system thrashes out everything it can, tries to push through as quickly as it can, everything possible to keep the lid on this awakening. But eventually the point comes where the truth vibrations, the new information construct, becomes the dominant one.
Right.
At which point, down will come the house of cards.
And we'll be able to access that. Yeah. The new and the old world are actually colliding in a way we've never dreamed possible.
And we will be able to access the ability to perceive and create in full awareness.
Right.
On a level that we would even think possible, but what the humanity once did before the fall, and is going to again, because we are not experiencing humanity in its full glory, its full potential, its full infinite possibility. We have experienced in our lifetime, and long back in what we call history, a suppressed, a controlled, and an ignorant humanity, and therefore its sense of possibility and what it can create has expressed that all.